Hi, my name is Cristian Moreno, Managing Director of TOR Metals, and TOR Metals is an exploration company in Western Australia.
Cristian, very nice to meet you. TOR Metals has got a relatively short listed history. I think you came to market in the middle of last year. There's lots going on. You don't have a typical Australian accent. You've got a kind of a South American twang to your accent. Let's just step back a bit, and can you just tell me a little bit about how you came to TOR Metals?
Indeed, Merlin. Thank you very much for having me here for this opportunity. Look, I'm Colombian. My name is Cristian Moreno. I came to Australia 4 years ago. I received scholarships from my government, from the Australian government, and also for some universities here in Western Australia. And I came here to study a master's degree in geophysics at Curtin University. I'm also a geologist. I'm also an engineer. I got experience in the oil and gas sector, in the mining sector. And finally, I'm finishing my MBA. And also I have some studies as well, a master in some studies in master's degree in statistics and data science. So I'm very well prepared, Merly. And just with this weird and strange Colombian accent.
And you arrived, so 4 years ago, you arrived just in time to have the COVID experience. You had the wonderful way that Australia shut its borders.
Indeed, Merlin. I arrived to Australia 3 days before the lockdown. So it was a very difficult situation for me. With my wife, I lived through COVID. Unfortunately, plenty of people around the world lost family. I also lost some members of my family because of COVID. But this is life. I'm here to make some story and leave the reputation of my country super, super high.
And where did you came from an oil and gas background, so you obviously worked in the oil sector for a number of years, and here you are with a hard rock metals company. What was the transition from doing the master's study at Curtin to leaving the oil and gas sector to one side and then popping up as the managing director of a hard rock exploration company?
So yeah, that's an interesting story. As I mentioned before, I'm an engineer. I'm also a geologist. I did some sort of studies in structural geology in this oil and gas company. Then I became the manager of geophysics and geological services, China National Petroleum Corporation, BGP. Had plenty of projects around the world. And then I decided, okay, I need a little bit more of technical background. I took the decision to study my master in geophysics here in Western Australia. And I said to my previous manager, okay, look, I'm going to leave the position. I'm going to study my master and I'll see you later on. He said, look, just keep working in the company, keep supporting us. I did that. And then COVID hit. And unfortunately, I lost my job. So in the middle, of my studies, Australia is a very expensive sort of a country. I had to work here. So my first position after being the manager of BGP oil and gas, was a field assistant. So I was picking up samples, checking samples into the ute, plenty of flies around me. So a lot of things, but it's a good experience. Was a good experience. And then I became a mine geo. And then, I finished my studies and I started working for TOR Metals. So that's a little bit of everything. Sorry, Marie, for giving you all the background.
So you started working for TOR Metals when it was still private, and what position was your position in TOR when you joined?
No, so I first started in Red 5 Limited. I also was contractor for some works for Goldfield as a contractor. And then in Red 5 Limited, I became the mine geo, and then, I did a lot of things as a contractor inside Red 5 Limited. Then that was in my vacation period of university. Then I came back to the city. That was as a FIFO. And as soon as I finished my master, I received offers from Fortescue. I received offers from Mineral Resources. I received offers from other junior companies. And then I took the decision to join this public company when the company was recently listed. And I took this company from zero, from scratch, sort of tried to develop the Paris Gold Project. And now I'm bringing this acquisition that took me since day one to do this business that I'm doing today.
Okay, well, we will come on to that, but before that, so Talk Metals was listed before you joined. What was the concept of Talk Metals, and who are the shareholders? What's the money behind it?
So Talk Metals was listed 2 years ago. The IPO was $5 million. The founders of this company were Ian Finch and Neil McKay. So they funded this company. They sort of did the IPO, and then one of the two directors joined them. That in this case was Patrick Berg and also Tony Lockhouse. And this company has been supported by Euros Harless EH since day one. And they are they are our major shareholders. And thanks to them, this company and the share price is being behaving very, very well.
So which group? Euros
Harless. Euros Harless. Apologies for my accent, really.
No, it's fine. And what percentage? What's their shareholding?
Before the last raising that we did today, and a couple of weeks ago, I should say between 30 to 40%. And the rest of the shares, of course, the vendor and the founder, they just have between 10% of the company. So I should say that this company is quite open. It's free fall. It's for shareholders. And of course, the clients of this broking house, well, they are individuals. They are shareholders.
And did the company have the Paris Gold Project right from the start? So did you join with the Paris Gold Project? I mean, did you join into the Paris Gold Project?
Indeed. So I received the project with a little bit of gold over there. And since day one, we started discovering new places. So we had a new discovery that is observation, a new discovery that is Triple H North, a new discovery that is EVA, a new discovery that is the Western structure of Paris, new discovery South, new discovery North, new discovery East. So we've been working super, super hard, Emily. And this Paris Gold project is just absolutely beautiful.
So just to confirm what I could see in the news releases, you've got a kind of a corridor of mineralization on seemingly east-west structures, which covers about 2.5 kilometers, and you can pick them up over several hundred meters. You've got some lateral features. It's kind of it. The words I wrote down were poddy, load, structural potential.
Indeed, really. So what is happening in the region, we could say that is something similar that happened in the past at St. Ives. So they started with multiple parallel small pits, and suddenly they were underground, and at one stage in this pass of St. Ives, they joined all these sort of small open pits together but underground. That is what is happening in the Paris Gold Project. So we have a structure open to the north and open to the south, 2.5 kilometers by 1 kilometer, multiple parallel structures over there. With my recent discovery that is called EVA, I'm demonstrating that there are multiple parallels over there, parallel structures over there. So what I need to do is keep exploring this area, keep increasing the size of these parallel structures, and come up with a potential resource.
And the last 2 years have been really difficult for gold companies. You know, the sector's been terrible. Your market capitalization today, after the raise, and you've jumped significantly. You've got a market capitalization of $33 million, but you were probably trading at $10 million Australian before that. Did you feel that the market was just not interested in your work, in the gold? Did it feel as if you were doing what you considered to be good work, but the market wasn't rewarding you?
Indeed, Emily. So look, the market is the market, and you have to understand the market. At the moment, gold is not, is not the best commodity, we should say, around the market. Even though the gold price is super high, I think that we are above 3,000 Aussies. So the gold price is super good. However, because of, the economical conditions around the world, we are with inflation, we are with a potential recession of soft landing. Some of the economics are saying this. Some people consider that investing in small companies is too risky. That is the risk. So because of the risk, mid-cap and big-cap gold producers, they are doing well because the gold price is in a really good price. Yeah. However, small caps like TOR Metals and others, we need investment and risky investment. That's why perhaps the market wasn't attracted at all. Now we
So
go to others. One.
So it's access to capital. I mean, how much have you been able to spend, and how much have you been able to raise? We will talk about the new deal. We will talk about the $4 million you've just raised and the new portfolio. But I'm just trying to understand the previous 2 years. How much money were you able to invest in the ground?
So we raised in the IPO around $5 million. Then the second tranche, the second placement was around between $3 to $4 million. And the last placement was $2.5 million. So in total, roughly $10 million in the last 2 years that had allowed me to sort of lead this particular area. You are quite right. The sentiment of the market wasn't there. However, I was super, super blessed because I've got the support of my shareholders. And I think that is the most important thing, the support of the shareholders. And because of them, the company is going well.
Okay, now let's talk about the new acquisition, because you said that from day one, you saw the potential. You've picked up a package of nickel, gold, and lithium tantalum licenses. To me here, it looks as if you're doing the classic ambulance chasing of going, we're doing a lithium pivot. You're suddenly saying, well, gold isn't popular, let's chase lithium.
No, I love that question. In fact, I'm not doing that. I don't believe in diversification. As you mentioned before, I'm an oil and gas guy. Yeah, I believe in logistics. If you are an Australian company, you shouldn't go to Canada, to South America, and to Europe because you are spending and burning a lot of money, and that is not your money. It's the money of the shareholders. You have to take care of the money of the shareholders. That's the most important asset. Okay? So what I'm doing here is I got my tenements, the Paris Gold Project, tenements to the north. I got other tenements, Cambalda, just 3-5 kilometers towards the west. And I got other tenements, Lithium, New Dawn, just 1 kilometer to the east of the Paris Gold Project. For me, this is not diversification. Merely, this is regional consolidation. I don't need to go anywhere else in the world to explore because I got everything in the best place in the world, in Australia. So I can discover any particular commodity here. Why? Because this is the best land for discovering minerals. This is the best land in the
world. But how do you manage with your shareholder expectation who are kind of looking at gold and then suddenly you're chasing lithium? I mean, I know lithium's very popular, but I mean, I look at the lithium price and it's down 75% from November.
And the gold price is super high, which leads me to give you the answer. I'm not walking away from the gold story. What I'm doing is, okay, I'm going to explore that particular Newton tenements. I got this potential over there, but at the same time, I'm working in the Paris Gold Project. I've got plenty of things to do at the Paris Gold Project. I need to understand my data and potentially come up with a mineral resource estimate that is going to hit the market super high, which means I'm not walking away from the gold story. What I'm doing is working parallelly.
Okay, so you've just raised $4 million, 12 cents, I think. I don't know how much treasure you had how much money you had in the bank before the raise, but what's your budget split going to be roughly?
Okay, so because of this raising, the raising was supporting the acquisition. We are going to use that money for drilling New Dawn, for lithium, 600 meters far away from Gold Hill, 25 million ton lithium 1%. But I need to do things at the Paris Gold Project. However, the things that I need to do at the Paris Gold Project can be done in-house. I got a resource estimator in-house. I got a geophysicist in-house. I got our geological modeling in-house. And I'm super busy as well, the Paris Gold Project. So in short, I'm not going to use that particular money for investing at the Paris Gold Camp, because I need to do a lot of things that I can do in-house. What I'm going to use that money is drill new.
And so does that mean you're not drilling Paris at the moment, because you're just at the phase of work which is a lot of consolidation of the data and the interpretation? So you've done the hard yards, not the hard yards. You've done the physical yards, and now you're doing the interpretation and the consolidation of the information.
Indeed, Mary. So around 2 weeks ago, we released to the market beautiful intersections of gold. Yeah. So what now I need to understand those intersections, feed up my geological model, my volumes, understand what I have there, and then start working super, super close on sort of, additional modeling, additional resourcing, and these sort of things. So that can be done in-house. At the same time, I'm going to go to the Newton project and drill to check what is in there. It's good, isn't it?
So you've said very briefly, I think earlier, I mean, I can see it in your presentation, but I don't know if listeners would have heard it, something about Bald Hill, 26 million tons, 1% lithium. Tell me a little bit about what the neighbor project is doing. Is it in operation? Is it historic? A little bit more about the neurology, please.
Yeah, so it is fantastic. So the time and the timing in this acquisition, I should say, is perfect. Glencore, the big Glencore, bet for Bald Hill the last week, which is an operating and under care and maintenance lithium mine, $1.8 billion for buying the debt, secure and not secure debt. That was the last week. $1.8 billion.
So Glencore bought the debt or bought the entire operation?
Glencore put a bid, for $1.8 billion for the secure and not secure debt of Bald Hill. But yesterday, Mineral Resources bet for Bald Hill $1 billion or something like that. I don't have the exact numbers. Actually, no one knows the information. I'm quoting the Australian financial news. And now, TOR Metals, this junior company, is acquiring 2 mining licenses, pre-native titles, 600 meters, less than 1 kilometer mainly, 600 meters to the west of Bald Hill. What is Bald Hill? Bald Hill is a mine with 25 million ton lithium 1%, and is under care and maintenance. Now, TOR Metals has these 2 beautiful tenements with a lot of pegmatites, with a lot of mineralization over there, and we have 10 days, 15 days before we start the drilling campaign, Mary.
I've seen this with Azure Metals. They were doing good work on the nickel. Tony Rivera. They were drilling out their nickel, and they started drilling their lithium, and suddenly it became a lithium company. What they had was a very big pegmatite field, and they had some extremely big thicknesses of pegmatite. So suddenly it looked like a very big target. When I looked at the map that you had, it seemed to be kind of quite skinny pegmatite dikes. What comfort do you have that there's kind of there's kind of some volume there, or is it going to be very small tonnages?
No, I don't think so, Merlin. I would be very disappointed if we wouldn't intersect multiple sort of pegmatites over there. I've got the public information that is at GeoView. All the shareholders that are looking this and watching this interview can download this information. At Bald Hill, there are multiple pegmatites, call it like fingering, intruding some metasediments, some schistosity. So what they were doing was drilling, and intersecting multiple pegmatitic bodies. At Bald Hill, They were there. That is the resource that they have. So what we believe is we will have something similar. We will have pegmatites between 10 to 15 to 20 meters, something like that, with significant lithium grade. In fact, one of the rock chips that we analyzed for lithium came back with lithium 6%. That is amazing. Yeah. And by the way, we obtained the 3D and the drilling information from London, Australia, who drilled these two particular mining licenses. And I've got pegmatites in that particular model up to 30 meters thickness. What Top Metals is going to do is easy. Go there and repeat the drilling, intersect these pegmatites, and analyze those pegmatites for lithium.
Okay. How much drilling data, and have you got? You probably can't create a JORC resource from that, but it might lead you to an exploration target. You might be able to have a conceptual exploration target. Are you allowed to talk in those terms yet?
Indeed, Mary. So the public is public information. Anyone can download this from GeoView. You can download information. However, this information was in paper, was done in 2001. So what we did was download the information and start writing everything in our database, then populate our geological model, and now we are modeling. So exactly, we can use this information to assay, we can use this information to come up with a resource. But what we are doing is using public information to guide our geological model, which is quite, it's fantastic. I don't need to go there and do soil sampling. I don't need to go there and see, oh my goodness, what is the pegmatite? No. I've got the 3D model, and what I need to do is just drill where the thickest interval is located.
Yeah, good. So you've mentioned a gold resource at some stage. You mentioned drilling coming up. Can you just map out for me what your work plan is for the just to put things in kind of chronological order over the next 6 to 9 months? What are the main things that you're going to be delivering to the market?
What the market loves, indeed. What the market loves, Mary, is a quick story. I'm here to support my shareholders and to increase the value of my company as much as I can. I'm adding value to my shareholders, which means that I don't want to waste their time. The time is valuable, and I respect that. Who leads me that I'm gonna go to these particular two tenements, mining licenses, pre-native titles, in 2 weeks and start the drilling campaign. I'm gonna go there and start the drilling campaign as soon as possible, drill where the pegmatites were located, and obtain the results as soon as possible. That's what I'm going to do first. Second thing, I'm working in-house in the Paris Gold Project. I need to do a lot of things in the Paris Gold Project and then understand what is going on and then release some information to the market. But everything is in-house at the moment. And later, because I'm a geophysicist, I've got the capacities to do plenty of things. I'm not only a geophysicist, I'm an engineer, I'm a geologist, an MBA, data scientist. I got the information and the capacity to do geophysics in-house. What I like to do is do a lot of geophysics across all these tenements, Paris Gold Project, all these tenements, Pale Sands Project, all these tenements, Newton projects, and start discovering additional zones of mineralization. So this is an exploration company, really. This is an exploration company, and my job, my duty is to add value to this company by exploration.
Excellent. The geophysics, have you got a plan? Are you going to do? Presumably, a lot of this is going to be based on structure and the magnetic signal difference between the volcanics and the metasediments. So, I mean, is mag kind of a big part of that? Are you going to fly the high resolution magnetometry? Or
we are going to technical here, but magnetics is not quite good for identification of lithium or pegmatites. I'm a geophysicist, but I understand that. That is good for nickel and good for copper, good for gold, and good for these sort of metallic elements. For lithium is more gravity because the density of the rocks. If you have the lithium buried with a lot of density, you can use gravity, but on top of that, you can use seismic. And I'm quite good at seismic. So I believe that when we intersect these sort of pegmatites, we need to go for seismic.
Yeah, interesting, because the seismic's been used in Australia successfully for in the gold exploration as well, just by picking up the deeper structures and really understanding the three-dimensional aspect of that in connectivity. So we come back to the conversation which we had at the beginning, which is the St. Ives story. But thank you, really interesting. How have you found being Colombian in Australia? Because Australia is an amazing country, but because it's so such a kind of a world in its own borders, if you know what I mean, sometimes I feel that it kind of Australians like Australians best, perhaps. Has it been difficult being Colombian in Australia?
Actually, no, Berlin. I think that for me personally, and I know that you are from the UK because of your accent, I got accent as well. So I love Australia. I really love Australia, and particularly I love Perth. I love look over there, isn't it beautiful? So I love this place with my heart. I believe I want to live here the rest of my life. I got my wife here, and I'm so happy to now be in a permanent resident and soon to be an Australian. So I respect this company, this country. I believe in this country, and what I want to do is the best for this country. That's what I want to do.
Cristian, thank you very much. Really good talking to you. Good luck with the work program. And please come back and tell me what you've done once you've done it.
I got the answer right now, Merlin. What I'm going to do is intersect this pegmatite full of spodumene in 20 days and get crazy about the results. Thank you, Merlin. Thank you very much.